gentlemen, that is a certified banger that we just listened to. That is Heel from Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol off the album Doo-Wop, and the song Heel, one of my favorite songs of the year. You know, you just snuck in from the year. So it's an absolute certified banger off of, again, the album Doo-Wop. And I'm here talking with the vocalist, guitarist, Leo. And, man, I've been listening to this album, and that's why I had to get you guys on. And it's one of those albums that I'm listening to, and all I can think about is, how the hell did you guys do this? You know, I saw that this is self-released, and as I'm listening to it, the drums, the production on the drums is outstanding. The bass I love, and you can really hear the bass. There are times where in the albums, you know, that I hear the bass gets lost. Everything is just all around production quality perfect. And I know this is your second album. In this album, did you finally dial all that stuff in?
So every release that we have 3 EPs before those 2 full lengths, I was doing all the production and mixing and mastering, and then just got to a point where I couldn't really do what I needed it to sound like and have it be, you know, have it translate to what it sounds like in the live experience, which is, I think, a really huge, or the most important aspect to translate onto that recording or any of our recordings. Just getting that, like, that angst and that power to come through. So my roommate, who runs a studio and a mastering studio, and he worked his magic, Cody J. Simpson, audio extraordinaire on Instagram. He was going to do just one of the singles, and then I'm like, hey, man, this came out so good. Would you like to do the rest of the record? And he was down for it. So he definitely took it and went above and beyond.
Give him a beer or two. Fantastic. Truly.
I owe him a lot more than that for sure. But yeah, absolutely.
Now, you guys are on tour currently, and two things. I know you guys had to stop mid-tour for about 6 weeks to do the album that is out now, Doo-Wop, which, for more information, Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol.com. Go ahead, click there, and there, I highly implore you to check out this album. I've been listening to it nonstop. But in that 6 weeks, you were able to really just dial everything in. Did you go in with the plan?
It was tough for us to take 6 weeks off to do that, to be honest, because we haven't really stopped other than COVID, obviously, in the 5.5 years we've been a band, we have just been go, 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 go. And, you know, try to churn out at least one release a year. And so we had this in mind, even so dropping our first record, Burger Babes from Outer Space, was right at toward the end of COVID. And then we already had this idea for Doo-Wop in the back of our minds to kind of create this album of, you know, shorter songs, very catchy melodies, and pay like homage to where rock and roll came from back in, you know, the 50s and 60s with the doo-wop, but just doing a heavier version of that sort of songwriting structure and that catchy vocal harmony and melody that happens. So yeah, we already had the songs pretty much ready to go, and took those 6 weeks before we left out for tour with King Buffalo to not only get the album recorded and mixed, which probably took about a week or two to record everything, and then about a week to master it. And then you have to go through all the digital distribution. So it just takes, you know, a while for, you know, Spotify and iTunes to even process all that. So we had to give ourselves a little bit of a barrier to, you know, once the album was done, it needed like a month to just release singles, release videos for our PR and marketing company to kind of push it out to everywhere we could get it out to.
Speaking of videos, I actually did get to see the Heel video. Very cool. It's a mixture of live footage set with, I guess you guys driving in a car or just like walking around. Very well done for that. Did you guys have a video in mind, or was this just something that just came up naturally because you had all this excess footage?
So that song we had started playing live before the album even dropped, and we knew that it was, a really catchy one, and people were responding to it well. So we have a lot of friends that are involved in, like really nice old cars and motorcycle stunt riding and stuff like that. So we wanted to get them involved, and then also just pay our respects and our appreciation to the rock and metal community that we're involved in Austin. So we shot all the footage at two places that we play at, and just try to get everybody involved that we could to kind of, it's like somebody on YouTube commented it as being like the perfect love letter to Austin, Texas. And I think that that's a really great way to describe it.
Truly is, and you're right. I really loved, like, you guys driving around in that caddy with the flip lights and stuff like that.
Yep.
I was like, these guys are living large. Is it tough to really distinguish your sound? It's so unique in the sense that I haven't heard anything like this. Except for that cough. But but I really haven't heard anything like this. I'm not saying this is all by accident, but and even when you say that you're metal, like I don't hear that,
Right.
So talk to me about developing this sound that's become so unique for you guys.
That was another reason why we wanted to name the album Doom Wop, because we feel like that's what the genre is that we exist in, and it's just a better way to describe it rather than putting us in because a lot of people that listen to us or don't even listen to heavy music will come to a show and they're like, I don't even like heavy music, but I like you guys. So it seems we're lucky that we transcend into a lot of different pockets and maybe are a little more palatable in the sense that we're not being like angry or aggressive. Like there is an aggressiveness there to it, but we're having fun and we're goofing off and we're trying to diffuse the metalhead hard guy with his arms crossed in the front of the stage, that won't even smile. It's like, come on, man. We're all having fun, right? So that's kind of the whole vibe, I guess, where it's, I love, Pantera and Meshuggah and Fu Manchu, and those are all influences, but also the Beastie Boys and Primus and Ween is the other angle where I'm coming from with it too. So it's kind of just a mishmash of all those things.
I love it. And I love the fact that you mentioned Ween, which, I truly enjoy their satirical storytelling. Just the way they, he'll go on what you think is a paragraph and you're like, wait, is this a song or is he telling me, talking to me and stuff like that. So,
Sure.
And I could kind of start seeing those influences in you. Your voice is so unique as well. Was it hard for you to realize that? Because a lot of people, they want to try to sound like somebody else. And, I know a lot of friends and they are teachers, and they show people how to sing. And a lot of times their students, they come and they're like, oh, I want to sound like this. And so, the guys are like, okay, this is kind of how you kind of get that. But with you, it's something different. Tell me about developing that. Was that a hard moment for you to actually get in front of a crowd and use your voice?
So, before I was even doing this particular project, I was doing a one-man band loop pedal sort of thing where I was singing completely I was actually singing more in an indie, psych rock kind of Tame Impala or something like that. So but I've always loved metal and always written different metal projects. But the whole Rickshaw thing came about as me just wanting to write heavier music. And I was in joke punk rock band at the time. And I was singing in that nasally sort of bratty, sassy sort of way to just cause I thought it brought out just it cut through everything in the same way, when I mentioned, Ad Rock from Beastie Boys, or Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine, or like even like Turnstile or somebody like that, where like the vocals sit in a certain like high mid frequency, so it cuts through. And so I kind of developed that because I'm playing an 8-string guitar and then we have a bass. So like there's so much low end content, to have a higher vocal like sit over that was important, to just for the clarity of it. So that was kind of why that happened, but it wasn't anything like I'm not singing correctly. I'm singing all in my nose and my throat. I'm not singing with my diaphragm, and somehow it just, it just is what it is, I guess. I never like really thought about it. But yeah, it works, I guess.
It totally works. And it's, really, putting your guys's, foot on, music. With that, I have a whole thing about, playing at home is great, but just like any team, you have to win away. So you guys are on tour right now, and are you guys branching out of Austin? And what has that been like? Are you winning away? Those are the most important battles.
We are. It's been really cool. So since we dropped Doomwop, we've pretty much been on the road nonstop. So we did a 24-day tour the day that the album dropped. And then we came back to Austin for a week and a half, did a couple shows in Austin, and now we're on a 12-day tour. And then after this tour is wrapped up, then we'll take December. We'll just do local stuff, like Texas stuff in December and January, and start planning for spring of 2023. We already have a bunch of stuff in the works for that. But yeah, it's been really cool to hit some markets that we haven't hit before and show up to these venues, and kids are wearing our shirts and singing our lyrics. And it's just like, it's pretty special. It's pretty magical to see that. So the grind, I mean, we've been doing the Southeast area, quite a bit, like from Texas out towards Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, like that little loop. Yeah. We've done that quite a bit, but 4 months ago, we did the Midwest for the first time. We just did the East Coast for the first time. This is all the tour we're on now is kind of like Hurricane Alley area, like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. So yeah, it's been really good. It's been, and that new album has gotten a lot of great traction, and we've been getting a lot of good press too. So that always helps as well.
Yeah, that album is just, it was to the point where I'm like looking on your guys' Bandcamp, and I'm like, is there going to be vinyl for this album? It deserves vinyl.
Yeah, there will be. Unfortunately, the vinyl pressing plants and all that are so backed up at the moment that we'll be lucky to have a vinyl for Doomwop in the next 7 months. And that was probably I wanted to have the album out when we went out with King Buffalo, because we knew we'd be in front of larger crowds, right. And we wanted to have them have access to that, rather than record the album and then wait for the physical copies. Because right now, we're still waiting on our second press of Burger Babes from Outer Space. We ordered those in March, and we still don't have them yet. So it's just, unfortunately, the way that the industry's working, and there needs to be some more factories getting up and running. And I think, in the next couple of years, we'll probably see that happening just because of the demand. Gotcha.
It looks like you're at a factory right now. Get to pressing,
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just in some random, part of this warehouse that we're playing in tonight in Baton Rouge. So.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Very cool. Very cool indeed. And for more information on the band, again, Rickshaw Billies, BurgerPatrol.com. Could you have picked a longer name?
Yeah, I think it kind of, it doesn't have any real specific special meaning or anything like that. When people ask me where the name came from, it was just a complete joke. It never meant to be a thing that stuck. I just needed a name to release the content when I started writing this, and it kind of caught a life of its own. I'm lucky that the word is burger in there, because it makes for a lot of good branding opportunities. But other than that, I just I don't know, man. It just kind of goes to show you that the names don't really matter, and that sequence of those 4 words, you can type in any part of that and it will come up. So
I love it. It's super great. And it's super great having you on, Leo. What you guys are doing for music is truly an amazing thing. You're making people fall back in love again in music. And right now, that's very important, especially when there's all these people that are releasing albums, and it's good to distinguish yourself, and you guys have certainly done that with Doom Wop, which is out now. Guys, go pick it up. They're streaming on Spotify as well, so if you want to do that as well. But, give the band some love and go ahead and buy a physical copy. And for more information, again, Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol.com. And if you can't remember that, remember part of it, and then you can Google it. And I bet you they'll
it'll be there somehow. Just type in Burger Patrol or Rickshaw or something, and
and they'll be right there. I wish you so much more luck on the rest of your tour. I know you guys are going to do well because this sound is really amazing, and I truly do appreciate what you guys are doing and the music. Again, I listened to it, and I was like, I wonder if these guys will be on the show, and sure enough, you guys said yes. So I was ecstatic about it. Yeah, and thank you for everything. And again, guys, for more information, Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol.com. Go hit them up there. The last song that we're going to play is actually the first song I heard by you guys that got me intrigued, which was Shoein'. So that was the first song I heard. And then, I listened to all the other stuff, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So this is, can you tell me a little bit about this song before we play it?
The song, I guess what it's about is like just being held down by opportunities you thought you were literally a shoe-in for. And, being like, oh yeah, I got this. We're good. We're going to be fine. This and that. And then the man holds you down still, but just like making fun of that, just like, it doesn't matter. Just keep grinding, keep on doing it. That's kind of what it's about.
That's cool. And that is definitely what you guys are about. Just keeping on grinding, keeping on doing it. The success is coming, and it's already here, so
we're just out here doing it, man. We're just being road warriors, trying to just make sure that, no matter if we're playing to 10 people or 500 people or whatever, that, we're helping people feel good. And that's the whole point.
That is definitely the whole point. And again, for more information on the band, make sure to go check them out. Rickshaw Billies Burger Patrol.com. Go out, pick up Doom Wop, buy the band, and we leave you now with Shoe It.